You know that feeling? The moment you finally try to be still, your mind just goes into overdrive. It's like the quietest moments are somehow the least restful. So today, we're going to dig into why that stillness can feel so unsafe and how an ancient psalm gives us this incredible roadmap to finding real rest, not by trying to manage ourselves better, but by figuring out who's truly in control.
Okay, let's just start with this thought, because I bet it feels super familiar. It's that quiet, nagging voice in the back of your head, right? Especially when you're alone or trying to wind down for the night. I need to manage myself to be okay. It's this deep belief that if you can just stay on top of everything, stay in control, then, and only then, will you be all right. And that feeling brings up a really important question for a lot of us. When all the distractions finally fade away, the phone goes down, work is done, the house is quiet, why does anxiety just rush right in to fill the space? For so many people, that stillness suddenly feels dangerous. Like if you stop juggling all the balls for even 1 second, something awful is going to happen.
Now, most of us think of Psalm 23 as this cozy, comforting poem for tough times, and it absolutely is. But it's also so much more than that. Think of it less like a gentle poem and more like a powerful tool, something that's literally designed to retrain our hearts, to rewire our deepest beliefs about who is actually in charge.
So, the psalm works on 3 key areas of our inner world, and the first one is the mind. This is all about what you really believe and, when it gets quiet, who you truly trust. The psalm kicks off with this totally radical statement, and you gotta notice what it doesn't say. It doesn't say, I'm really good at managing my life, so I'll be fine. Or, I've got everything under control, so I don't need anything. No, it starts by pointing completely away from us toward a shepherd who is actively, right now, leading and providing. And this is where you see the clash, right? The story our anxious mind tells us is that stillness is a threat, and we have to manage everything. But the psalm flips that completely. It says stillness isn't dangerous. It just reveals who or what we're really trusting in. And the knockout punch is this: you don't have to manage it all because the Lord is already shepherding. He's on the job. So, figuring out who we trust, well, that leads us right into the second area, our affections. This is about the deep desires of our heart, what we love, and maybe even more tellingly, what we are terrified of losing. Fear often acts like a guard dog for the things we deeply love. Things like our emotional safety, or that feeling of just wanting to be okay and stable. Or maybe it's our desire to be a good person and not become bitter. And let's be super clear, these are all good things to want. The issue isn't the desire. The problem is when our fear of losing them makes them the one thing that rules our hearts, the thing we'll do anything to protect and control. And this is the psalm's incredible answer to that fear. The promise here isn't that you get to skip the valley. It's not a guarantee that there won't be shadows. The promise is presence. The shepherd is with us in the valley. See, our fear explodes when we think we have to protect ourselves. But real peace, that comes from trusting that he is right there with us. And all of this brings us to the third area, our will. This is about what we actually do. How do we respond to what we believe and what we fear? It's all about our actions. So when that anxiety starts to bubble up, we often fall back on what we could call self-shepherding behaviors. These are our go-to moves, right? Grabbing our phone to distract ourselves instead of just resting. Filling our schedule to stay busy so we don't have to be still. These aren't just random habits. They are our very real attempts to shepherd ourselves. But just look at how the psalm speaks right into this. He makes me lie down. This is so important. Sometimes the shepherd's greatest gift to his anxious sheep is to make them rest. Our job in that moment isn't to prove we can handle it. Our obedience is just to follow his lead and let ourselves be cared for.
Okay, and here's the big pivot. If we read this whole thing as just another to-do list, trust more, fear less, rest better, we've missed the entire point. Psalm 23 is not a self-help psalm.
It's a psalm that finds its ultimate meaning in Jesus, who actually says, I am the good shepherd. He's the one who fulfills every promise in this psalm. He doesn't just guide us, he laid down his actual life for us. And that brings us to this psalm's incredible, show-stopping conclusion. This isn't just some wishful thinking. It's our rock-solid declaration, and it's based entirely on the character of the shepherd.
So get this, because this changes everything. Goodness and mercy are not a prize you get for finally getting your anxiety under control. They're not a reward you earn for being a good sheep.
No, they are an active pursuit. They are following you, relentlessly, chasing you down even on your most distracted, anxious, and fearful days. Why? Because the shepherd never, ever gives up on his sheep.
And in the end, the promise is both simple and unbelievably profound. He restores my soul. That restoration, that peace, that deep rest we're all looking for, that's His work. It's not our burden to carry. He is faithful to do it, leading us one step at a time, through one valley at a time.
So I'll just leave you with this to chew on. In a world that is screaming at us to do more, manage more, and control more, just take a second to ask yourself, where in my life right now might true faithful obedience look less like frantic action and a lot more like trusting, quiet stillness?